Welcome back to the Abundance Alchemist, your quiet space to remember who you are. Tonight we speak gently about welcome moment, mirrored with quiet abundance, where listening replaces effort, and sleep is safe not as a lesson to learn, but as something your soul already carries. What if you've never truly been broken? What if your softness was always your power? What if this ache has always been an invitation? Right here, you don't have to change anything. There is no proving left to do. The world drifts a little further from the edges of your bed, and the part of you that's worked so hard just to be okay can close its eyes in the dark. Your worth is not measured by noise or momentum or what you fix while everyone else is sleeping. Tonight, the only thing asked is that you allow your listening to deepen, like letting your body sink into the covers, a little heavier, a little less afraid. Silence is not something missing, it's a door opening to a home you forgot you built. It's safe now, even if your mind is busy, even if your heart feels so full it aches a little. This space is for every version of you that thought stillness was the same as failure. Here, effort is not currency. Here, you don't have to grasp. The quiet is not empty. It's full of old memories, little dreams, all the times you wondered if rest was love in hiding. Each breath, you can loosen your hold on fixing and just let sound move past, letting your soul listen instead of strive. Your softness isn't a performance. It's the original language you spoke before you learned any words at all. Let this echo. Remember all the nights when you believed you had to earn tomorrow's safety. Maybe you still do. Maybe that's why arriving here matters so much more than finishing. The welcome moment is not a doorway you have to cross. It is the soft landing already waiting. The quiet gathering around your shoulders, settling in your bones, so nothing has to hurry home. You are already inside. There is nothing missing from this moment, nothing you must chase. Even loneliness, the long ache that comes for company, finds a seat beside you here and says nothing. Just the presence, just the warm hush that makes it okay for any part of you to arrive late, or not at all. You don't need to hold it. If you grew up believing you had to be alert, to scan the dark, to stay ready, rest can feel risky at first. It can feel like missing something important or losing what's unfixed. But tonight, you're allowed to put the old training down. You are invited to notice the hum beneath thought, that wise and ancient part that hears what is beautiful in silence. As you drift, let your listening replace all the effort. Let your body and mind remember how easy it is to belong when you are not working for it. Even this is part of the remembering. Softness is not the loss of strength. It's the invisible abundance you were born with, and it is yours, no matter who forgot to show you. This gentle hour is not passive, it is potent, inviting you to feel how deeply you are received by a quiet that keeps you safe. Every time you rest, you are mirrored, not missed. Every time you listen, you reclaim a piece of wealth that requires no work, no proof, no permission. Let it all soften here. If you drift, let go, or find yourself between dreaming and waking, it all counts. You were never meant to be on watch forever. Tonight, sleep is not a pause, it is a welcome. Abundance is the warm dark that rises to meet you without question, and tonight you are free to let it in. In the hush before the world stirs, darkness is not an absence but a cradle. There is something sacred in these nearly silent mornings, where the house and your own skin are indistinguishable from the stillness pressing against the window. You are awake, but not rushed. Your breathing invents its own rhythm. Every inhale its own slow invitation. Every exhale a gentle letting go of names you carried yesterday. The edge of the bed is cool, the floor beneath your feet, not yet sun-warmed, meets you like an old friend. Through the blurred space between dreaming and waking, there is nothing to perform, no mask to fasten, no explanation to offer, just the echo of your own heart, felt in the quiet more than heard, as if the air itself is leaning in to listen. Perhaps this is the first bead, unthreaded, wide with possibility. An ancient memory stirs, the way your fingers once traced the grain of wood, or maybe the first time you noticed how silence can gather around you like soft fabric. In this gentle darkness, the rituals begin. Not with doing, but by letting yourself be. Let it soften here. There's an ache that sometimes hums just beneath the ribcage, almost like a secret waiting to be remembered. Often, we let noise bandage it, fill the space before we even notice the ache asking for quieter company. The world teaches us to wake up running, to chase light with questions and answers and plans, but not now. Not in this cocoon of before light, where silence is not an absence but a comfort. Silence is letting blood return to cold fingers, a softening of the jaw, a velveted breath. Even if you drift, this still lands. Maybe you remember mornings from long ago, when someone you loved let the quiet speak first. The way the horizon isn't pressured to be anything but slow. The slow pouring honey of sunrise unseen. The first bait is this. A pause, a surrender, an agreement with yourself to let the darkness hold what you're not ready to name. You don't need to hold it all. Notice the urge inside you to fill the space with thought, with movement, with the remembering of duties and dreams. Let them hover at the edge, like birds deciding whether or not to leave the nest. You get to choose, in this gentle opening, to only witness, nothing more. The ache is safe here, the desire can rest. The fear is just a shadow in the hallway. Let this echo somewhere. In the half-light, there is a sense of waiting, like the way dew gathers on grass before anyone walks by, as if life itself knows there is power in being unhurried. It doesn't matter if you rise with purpose, or if you simply lie still and let the dark cradle you a little longer. Both are holy. Both are worthy, both are truth. Even this is part of the remembering. There's something about stepping barefoot onto cool earth in the hush between night and morning, the way the grass greets your soles, not with a rush, but with a remembering. Maybe you felt it, that small urge to get up, to widen the space inside your chest, to move quietly past the boundaries of the day that just ended. Sometimes it isn't about fixing the mind or chasing down every thought until it behaves. Sometimes it feels truer to step outside, let the air brush your skin, and notice how everything slows. The yard around you is both shelter and invitation, an old friend who holds all your names and none of your worries. As if every step you take, the earth receives the weight for you, inviting your feet to soften, your shoulders to lower, your thoughts to loosen and spill into the soil. Let it soften here. When you move in the moon's gentle shadow, something else moves too. The thrum of old stories starting to quiet. The worries that clung to you, like morning dew on the grass, begin to lift. You walk one slow circle, then another. You pause to look up, maybe at the hidden silver behind a passing cloud, and breathe. For a moment, your breath is the only thing happening, and it is enough to anchor you in now. The world is so much quieter than you remember. Even if you drift, this still lands. There might be an ache you brought here, the ache of overthinking, the tangle of trying to solve the puzzle of your own heart. The mind can seem so loud before rest, so determined to find answers in darkness. But the body remembers how to be simple, how to swing the arms, shrug off the day, circle in the yard like you are drawing a soft line between who you were and who you can be again. Every step a kind of release, left, then right, letting some old loop walk itself out of your chest. You don't need to hold it. Notice how your movements don't have to be graceful or purposeful for the relief to settle in. It can be slow, awkward, even half asleep. Each turn across the grass reminds some part of you there is no rush. Not out here, where the wind has already forgiven you, where the sky knows every secret you were afraid to speak. The past clings softly, but it can't hold you when you move with the earth. When you shift from foot to foot, cool blades touching skin, hands trailing through the summer air, you are allowed to wander. Allowed to forget your shape for a while. Let your soul take up more room than your thoughts ever could. The yard is patient. It's always known this side of you. The one that is slow, safe, a little wild but not lost. Let this echo sometimes. The hardest part is letting go of the need to understand. The mind wants reason, explanation, a map of the heart's fears. Yet the body knows. It is enough here to move without a goal, to trust that sensation can sweep away thought, not with force, but with gentle permission. When you lean into a stretch or sway without rhythm, something uncoils inside you. It may be grief or confusion, old joy that never found its voice. You let it move too, through limbs and breath. Even this is part of the remembering. Maybe you touch a tree as you pass, pressing your palm to rough bark. Maybe you lean back and feel the air cradle your head. Memories flicker through, childhood evenings, safe and soft, before you learn to carry so much in silence. The yard holds those moments too, not to teach you, but to remind you. Life grows even in darkness. Most of it does. Let it soften here. In the rhythm of this simple movement, you find space. Not wide open, frightening space, but the kind that holds you kindly, as the night holds the stars. Each step is a kind of forgiveness. Each slow inhale marks a new beginning, so small you might almost miss it. Thought begins to loosen its grip, like a shoelace that isn't yours to tie. Spaciousness opens in the cracks, in the pauses, in the hush between one foot and the next. Let yourself be unhurried. The body is wiser than the mind's old urgency. The world outside does not demand perfection, or answers, or readiness. It asks only this, to show up as you are, and let the rituals of slowness reveal themselves. Moving through the yard, you are held by every gentle thing that grows and every ancestor who dreamed of peace for you. Let this echo. There is a quiet that lives around the early hours, before the day reaches for you, before the world flushes full of hurry. Maybe you remember a morning when breakfast was not a rush, but a simple act. The gentle crack of an eggshell, the promise of warm bread, your hands moving without needing to compete with the clock. Some part of you still remembers eating this way. Not because you had to fuel up and face a battle, but because receiving was allowed to be slow. It was allowed, period. There is an innocence in the way hunger first rises, a curious warmth, real as breath, that whispers, "Let me care for you," not as obligation, not as performance, but as the holy language of being alive. What would it taste like, just for now, to meet nourishment like a quiet visitor each morning? Not a to-do or a tally, just the slow return of hands to your own heart. Even if all you make is a cup of tea and a ribbon of light across your kitchen floor, even that is a kind of prayer. It's safe now, bringing the spoon to your lips, letting it rest there just a heartbeat longer than you need. Sometimes this alone is an act of rebellion. The world has taught you to hurry, to fill as quickly as you can, to swallow the day so you can run to the next. But your body remembers a different rhythm, the way dew soaks a leaf, the way fruit ripens without rush. What if every meal was a doorway? What if you could slip through, for just a few breaths, into a reality where you do not have to earn what sustains you? the eggs still warm, the bread breaking soft in your hands, the air scented with beginnings. This is provision that asks nothing but your presence. This is wealth beyond numbers. This is the soft, daily love of being tended to. Let it soften here. You may notice an ache, a part of you still quiet, still waiting for permission to slow down. Maybe it looks back at mornings when there wasn't enough. Maybe it reaches toward old echoes. Eat fast, be grateful, don't waste, finish everything. Sometimes this is how scarcity lingers, even when the plate is full. And still, right now, there is room to remember otherwise. The sound of your breath in the early light, the belly that rumbles, gentle and unashamed, the hands that pause just long enough to receive. Receiving is not a sin against productivity. It is the oldest form of reverence. Even if you drift, this still lands. A meal eaten without hurry is not a luxury for the future you. It is the birthright you carry in your bones. There are birds who do not time their hunger. Trees that wait years for sweet rain. The sun never feels shame for giving light again and again. In this animal of a body, you remember too. And in remembering, you heal more than hunger. You don't need to hold it. Someone once taught you that worth was proven by sacrifice, by how little you need, by speed or strength or shrinking. But darling, your softness is not a liability. The time it takes to savor, to truly taste, to let fullness arrive, this is your medicine. The slow breakfast is a ceremony no one can take from you. Even this is part of the remembering. There's a hush in this darkness, a kind of room that only quiet can create. You're not asked to fix or solve or earn, only to let yourself be here. In the hush, your mind slows, softer, quieter. Where fingers trace coins, where attention listens for the oldest stories, somewhere inside, a memory surfaces, the first coins you ever held. Maybe tiny in your palm, cool against your skin, heavier than you thought the world could be. You knew nothing of their story, nothing of their worth, only the surprise of metal, the shine or tarnish, maybe the way it clinked when you set it down. That sound still echoes somewhere in you. Maybe you forgot, or maybe you learned with time that coins were for wanting, for having, for keeping, or losing. Desire grew slowly, almost invisible. It sang beneath your days, more, until wanting became a hum you lived inside. If only I had, if only I could, if only, if only. But listen, let it soften here. What if holding a coin could be gentle? What if it was never about taking, but witnessing? You once marveled at the shape, circles with memory pressed inside. Not a chase, not an ache, just a moment of quiet between your fingers, like holding a stone from a river. The current pulls, but the stone just is. You don't need to hold it. This moment is a bridge between who you've been and what calls you home. The chase can slow now. You can rest your hand. Coins are patient. They do not demand. They simply wait to be noticed, to be heard. Sometimes you can feel craving as a tightening in the chest, a flutter behind your ribs. It whispers old lines. It'll run out. There's never enough. Is there something wrong with me? You hear it not as words, but as weather moving through the body. Tension like cloud banks, longing like electric air. Each time you reached, the ache returned, an echo of old hunger, fed quietly over years. Even this is part of the remembering. It's strange how money asks only to be touched with presence, not hunger. How right now there is nothing to fill. The softness that comes, like watching a leaf fall, or feeling rain on your open palm, is the truth your body already carries. The coin, the moment, the breath, nothing needs to be chased. Let this echo somewhere, a memory of childhood. You found coins in the dirt, or watched sunlight skip off silver in someone's hand. Or not ownership, curiosity before claiming. The spirit in you remembers this. Money as witness, not prize. Value waiting patiently, never asking you to hustle, never needing to be forced. The world whispered a story of lack, but your soul, your bones, they know the story of enoughness. Even if you drift, this still lands. Touching coins can become a practice. Not of clutching, but listening. Feel their weight. The way each edge is worn by 1,000 hands before you. Imagine them falling from tree to earth, from hand to hand, from then to now. You are just another part of the story. You do not have to make yourself worthy. You are worthy by being here. Let it soften here. There's a rhythm in giving and receiving, breath in, breath out, coins leaving, coins returning. You know this rhythm even if you forgot. A flock of birds rises, a tide ebbs, a song is sung and then the hush remains. So too with abundance. In, out, here, gone. Still the world keeps turning, and so do you. You don't need to hold it. Desire will try to dress itself in urgency, but truth walks quietly. A truth waits, returns, sits at your feet. It remembers the sound of coins falling from hand to table, the simple music of enough. Each coin is a mirror, not a trophy. Each moment is an opening, not an ending. You are not behind. You are not broken for wanting. Even this is part of the remembering. Sometimes, when the world seems to clamor and shout, all you need to do is close your hand around the coin and breathe. I see you. I see me. Neither of us needs to prove. Let this echo. If you could look through the metal itself, you'd see the hopes of everyone who's held this before. You'd see the sunlit faces, the tired hands, the laughter after hard work, the wishes made in secret. The coins are history in your keeping, but never a burden you must bear. They move, you move, it's all allowed. Let it soften here. No matter how many times you circle this question, am I enough? Do I have enough? Will it last? The answer lives in quieter places. Not in craving, not in clutching, not in regret, but in the steadiness of your own heartbeat. In the exhale after reaching, in the calm after storm. You are the value, not the chasing, not the having, just the being. You don't need to hold it. If longing arises, let it be soft. If fear leans in, invite it to rest. Coins will come and go. The rhythm is ancient and kind. You don't have to outrun it anymore. Even this is part of the remembering. You are not here to catch every coin, not here to hoard, to hustle, to be left wanting. You are here to listen to the hush, the clink, the quiet value. You are here to witness, to be. Let it soften here. And as you fall even farther into rest, know that the coins are still in your palm. Cool, patient, nothing taken, nothing owed. You are what you always were, enough, witnessed, worthy. Not for what you hold, just for how you notice. How you slow your breath, how you touch the world with a little more reverence, tonight and always. Let this echo, you don't need to hold it. There is a truth so simple. It slips between fingers. Forgiveness isn't something complicated or far away. It lives in small places you visit every day, like folded cloth, warm from the dryer, carrying yesterday's shape, still willing to become new. Forgiveness matters not because someone told you to let go, but because holding on has worn your hands raw, because a heart is not meant to cradle old threads, woven tight with ache forever. Every time you smooth the fabric, letting wrinkles fall away, you are showing yourself the patience you once wished for from the world, like a garden that grew without being watched. Like the way water knows where to flow, like a prayer you didn't know you were praying. Let this echo sometimes. Forgiving is not an act at all, but an atmosphere. It's the space you create in quiet. when you fold a shirt and remember someone's laughter, or tuck away a towel and feel a half-healed scar inside. This is how softness returns. It matters because, in honoring those little aches, you remind your body there is nothing it cannot hold and transform. Like the first light on clean snow, like rain meeting the waiting earth, like the hush at the end of a favorite song, you don't need to hold it, you have always known how to release. The proof is in every corner you've cleared, every old sheet you've let go of, every time you trusted that mess could become something gentle. Forgiveness is the hand smoothing out a crease, the quiet assurance under the noise. It matters not for perfection, but because it lets you be free where you once hid. Like a long exhale after bad news, like sunlight through curtains before you fully wake up, like a coat you finally don't need to wear anymore. Even this is part of the remembering. Forgiveness arrives not as a thunderclap, but as the whisper of fabric set right, as a rhythm in your day that won't announce itself, yet quietly rewrites the past. It matters because every time you touch fabric you thought carried only memory, you teach yourself presence. This is the alchemy, loving what was so it can become what will be. Like a letter never sent but still reread, like the scent of home when you walk through the door, like a dream that leaves you softer in the morning. It's safe now. There's a quiet moment that lives inside you, the space just before an offering, when you hold something simple, a piece of fruit ripe with color, cool in your palm, and nothing is asked in words. There is only the silent music of devotion. The breath that slows, the gentle weight of what's given. Abundance remembers itself here, not as a prize, but as a presence, not because you strive, but because you allow yourself to feel full enough to give, and in this silent exchange, you become both the giver and what is given, like a sweet plum placed softly on a stone altar, like sunlight warming the skin of a peach, like rain feeding the roots below unseen. You are in the rhythm of all things. Held and holding, let it soften here. The soul knows gratitude long before it reaches the mind. It rises up like warmth in the chest, like tears before words can form. This matters because in the wordless space, there's freedom. When gratitude breathes without shape, there is no performance. There is no test to pass, only belonging. Like the hush before a candle is lit, like a garden awake before anyone steps outside, like a song that hums in the bones when all is still. Even this is part of the remembering. Your devotion is not measured by how loudly it's spoken. It is traced in the small, steady moments when you return to the altar, the fruit, the hum of being alive. In your life, there have been quiet thank yous. Thank yous whispered into darkness. Thank yous offered to your own reflection at the end of a long day. Thank yous that no one else heard, but that changed the whole landscape inside you. Like the way dew gathers with the dawn, unnoticed, like the slow ripening of fruit in deep shade, like hands cradling something precious, unseen by the world, every silent offering is sacred, and none go unseen by the part of you that keeps record of every grace. You don't have to hold it. Sometimes devotion is the courage to stay with what's here. There is a richness in simply showing up. Abundance flows where presence goes. No striving, only being. Why does this matter? Because presence dissolves the ache of not enough. Where you are fully, the well never runs dry. Like a stream that keeps finding its way, even through stone, like the soft weight of fruit in a child's hands, given just for the joy of giving, like the hush of orchard trees at dusk, not asking for anything, simply being. Let this echo. Wordless gratitude is devotion in its purest form. When the mind quiets, every part of you remembers that you belong to something vast, and that vastness belongs to you. It matters because this is the place nothing can be taken from you. You are in union with the source, with the giving and the given. Like the way the skin of ripe fruit gleams in morning light, perfect, effortless, like the way breath moves through you without being told how, like the way love stays, even when the world is quiet, it's safe now. There is always an altar within you, waiting for some sweetness only you can give. You offer not to be kept, but to remember that your hands were never empty, that your heart knows the way home. That devotion has always been easier than you thought, like sunlight finding its mark through the leaves, like the softest part of the fruit melting on your tongue, like memory itself returning with the scent of something once cherished. Even this is part of the remembering. There is a place in you where nothing rushes, where time stretches, and the heart remembers how to walk instead of run, where the world quiets. Not because the work is done, but because the urgency was never yours to carry. This is the town without rush, still and golden under a resting sky, where wealth is not a chase, but a gentle way of being home in yourself. To know this stillness is to remember that nothing essential can ever be forced. Wealth, in its real wisdom, is not urgency, but neutrality, a peace that rises the way daylight fills an empty street. It matters because so often, belief and body are knotted with hurry, convincing the soul that only movement brings value. But what if neutral ground is the proof of trust? What if every step, quiet and slow, is your birthright? Like a garden that grows behind the house, tended without hurry, like a shoeless walk through morning grass, dew cool and undemanding, like the hands of someone you love, folding laundry slow, humming to themselves. Here, wealth is the quiet permission to exist without rushing. It's safe now. There is a gentle knowing you have always carried, though the world often missed it. Rest is not a pause between efforts. Rest is the center, the reason, the unseen well from which every true profit is drawn. This matters because chasing is an old pattern, the anxious proof that you're earning your life. But what if simply existing is wealth enough? What if wholeness is measured by the exhale, not the outcome? Like the hush of winter dusk, when the sky softens to lavender and lamps wink on in windows, like the way sand slips through open fingers and doesn't mind being released, like a river bending slowly around a sleeping town, knowing it has nowhere else it needs to be. Even this is part of the remembering. There are days inside you when the air itself feels slower, when you wake and nothing aches to be accomplished, and you offer your soft attention to what is real. This is wealth as neutrality, the absence of hurry held in your cells, a way of being that invites more of everything good, not by grasping, but by allowing. It matters because what you allow becomes what stays. Abundance enters when it feels safe, when it recognizes itself in your open, unhurried hands. Like sunlight waiting on your skin, warm with promise but asking for nothing, like the gentle hum of bees, following the shape of invisible summer wind, like bread rising slowly in the oven, filling the house with the scent of patience. Let this echo, and so the walk becomes the proof, every step a small ceremony, not taken to escape emptiness, but to enjoy enoughness. You have always belonged to the day that unfolds this way, the air unhurried, the heart unstrangled by urgency. This matters because it frees your nervous system to dream bigger and deeper. Wealth can flow here, where nothing is constricted by need. Like a slow dance on a quiet porch, the music older than memory, like rain clouds that gather until they are ready, then offer themselves without drama or apology, like letters that arrive weeks after being sent, right on time for the season you're in. You don't need to hold it. In this town without rush, abundance is the quiet permission to rest in yourself. Every moment here is another gentle yes, a reminder that your worth is not in the quickness, but in the trust that everything comes. What waits for you finds you in its own unrushed hour. Release the pattern, the pressure, the perform. Let wealth mean being met, being held, being home. Even this is part of the remembering. Home doesn't always announce itself with a door or a welcome sign. Sometimes it's only the hush, the familiar slant of sunlight across an old wood floor, the dust drifting in lazy halos, the scent of memory so subtle you're not sure if it's the room or just you, still carrying pieces of the journey. There are days when arrival looks like nothing changing at all. No applause in the air, no great shedding of worries, just the warmth of softness returning. You cross a threshold, shoes in your hand, heart a little quieter than before. In the right kind of light, even your shadows look gentle. This is the place after longing, after pulling and reaching. There's no more urge, no echo, just enough. You feel it in the way your breath slows, in the way your skin feels like your own again, in the hush where your story finds its pause. The afternoon light doesn't judge what you carried before. It offers no measurement. It just spreads itself, no more, no less, across window glass and tangled blankets, softening the sharp edges of all that came before. Even the dust in the air glows proof that you have been moving, changing, loving, wondering, breathing, again and again. It's safe now. You notice how hunger and rush have faded. There are no old alarms in your body, just the quiet miracle of enoughness, settling into your chest, your belly, the corners of your mind where old stories slept. You remember that safe saturation isn't a dismissal of desire, but the way ocean cradles salt, held, suspended, carried home without effort. Nothing in this light is denied. The wanting, the weather, the wildness, they exist, but they don't rule you anymore. The soft golden hour reminds you there is richness in being full, in not chasing more. You can hear your own thinking, and it's not a storm, just a gentle wave tracing the sand one last time before dusk sets in. Even this is part of the remembering. When you look around, nothing important has disappeared. You've just outgrown the noise, become softer where it counts. There's a tenderness in homecoming that words rarely hold, how the world grows quiet so you can feel what's already here. Your own enoughness doesn't shout for attention, it settles in, easy as afternoon light spilling between half-closed curtains. No urge, no echo, just enough. The comfort of a well-worn chair, the hush of twilight moving up the wall. The knowing that nothing is missing and nothing is pressed. Every breath is met, every ache has found a resting place. In the hush, you let every part of yourself be welcomed again. You don't need to remember this by morning, your body already has. Imagine you are walking barefoot through a field just before night settles, when the last gold of the sun lingers over every blade of grass. There is a quiet rhythm in your steps, a gentle sound each time your foot touches the living earth. You notice how the wind moves through the tall grass in slow, sweeping waves, repeating, circling, giving everything a soft pulse. Each step you take is guided by a hush not meant to be rushed. You pause, let your body listen, and feel how the world holds you just as you are. There is no hurry when the earth is breathing. You become aware of your own heartbeat, steady, patient, ancient. The same way the sun returns each morning and the moon follows it without question or doubt. The loop is not empty here. The loop is the value. The pattern, the knowing, the repetition, every cycle a currency your spirit understands. Just breathing here is enough. Now, you find yourself sinking into a space where someone you love sits beside you. no words, just the presence of a heart that echoes your own pace. Your breaths line up in tandem, as if you both remember an old song you've always known. Safety in sameness, trust in repetition, the gentle miracle of being met again and again. Let it soften here. I am held by what returns. I am held by what returns. Repetition is my safe thread. Repetition is my safe thread. I am allowed to loop and be valued. I am allowed to loop and be valued. Each breath deepens my belonging. Each breath deepens my belonging. My cycles are sacred. My cycles are sacred. I receive the rhythm that brings me home. I receive the rhythm that brings me home. Receiving is safe. Receiving is safe. Receiving is safe. There's a quiet hour when the world exhales. When the windows hold the silvery hush of midnight, and all those daytime numbers finally rest. In this space, wealth begins to shimmer in a different sense, each moment of stillness, quietly scribed, as if your soul kept a ledger only the moon could raid. Even breath can feel like income here, slow, patient, gathered up in the background, accounted for by no one but your deeper self. Maybe for so long, wealth looked like numbers stacking in bright daylight. But tonight, you let that old shape loosen. You begin to notice how silence accrues, gentle as dew on grass, every pause and every empty hand, marked and measured not as absence, but as abundance making room. Let this echo. Sometimes the urgent world keeps tapping at your window, telling you to count, to calculate, to move. But in this chapter, the only thing that gets logged is your softness, logged by moonlight, entered into a secret book. Stillness becomes its own kind of gold, invisible but real, filling you up without proof, without noise. The moon knows. She keeps watch over things unclaimed. The hush between your thoughts is logged as wealth here. No effort needed. The proof is in the peace you feel when you let everything slow. You don't need to hold it. Imagine your worries dissolving, one by one, like coins sinking slowly into a quiet pool. Nothing is lost. Everything is simply transmuted. It's the feeling of being paid in calm, night after night, soft, silent dividends of ease. You might recall an evening when you sat by a window, cool air moving in, body loose and heavy as you watched the dark. That too was wealth, a ledger entry in the moon's own handwriting. Another night you let your tongue rest, saying nothing, listening for your oldest truth. Those moments add up, silent credits, adding softness to your balance. Even this is part of the remembering. Each inhale and exhale is a quiet deposit. Each stretch, each unclenched jaw, each minute spent closing your eyes, all of it is entered, witnessed enough. The outer world might not see these riches logged, but tonight, let yourself be rich in slowness, in unrushing, in letting go. Will you trust that nothing real can be lost? Even the pauses are valuable. Even the empty hands are portioned with new worth, new meaning. In this moonlight ledger, every sigh counts. The silence is never empty. It's always full of you, returning to yourself. It's safe now. Night falls without asking, and something soft happens in the hush you hear, where the light tucks itself under the covers of your memory. The world exhales in silence. So do you. There is nothing left to chase. Not tonight. The day folds inward like petals closing under dusk's gentle hand. You can set everything down, the stories, the striving, the quiet ache that rides your breath. Let it all settle beside you. It will not vanish, but for now it loosens its grip. Sometimes the richest thing you can do is surrender, not in defeat, but in devotion, not as collapse, but as exhaling deeper than before. What happens when you no longer hold yourself so tightly? What falls away when there is nothing left to prove? Can you remember a night when the only thing you were asked to be was here? Let it echo. Every night holds an invitation, written in the language of letting go. Even fatigue is sacred if you listen beneath its sighs. There's a wisdom in the way your body seeks rest, a language older than effort, truer than any plans tonight. Wholeness does not arrive with answers, but with an unspoken blessing. You are allowed to be held, even by emptiness. Some part of you already remembers how to sink, how to yield, how to trust this holding. Even if you don't know why, even if the mind stays busy, the soul is fluent in this surrender. You don't need to hold it. The rest that finds you here is not for fixing, but for reminding. It finds you without demand, like moonlight moving softly across the room. There's no effort in receiving what's already yours. You do not chase the dark to find the dawn. It arrives, and you allow it. You do not have to name every feeling to bless it. You do not have to understand every story to soften the night. Under the quiet, more is happening than you know. Let this echo somewhere. You learn to trust only what was loud, what promised answers, what kept you spinning, but life is generous in its silences. The wealth that meets you tonight is not measured, not counted, not promised to those who hustle most. It arrives in the hush between thoughts, the soft knowing that nothing essential is missing, even now. It's safe now. The night is not asking for your strength. It does not require your effort, only your permission to release. Even this is part of the remembering.